Welcome to Mondoo's Move the Needle presentation. Move the Needle is not just simply adding up CVE scores and adding it to your to-do list. We calculate the risk by looking at the risk type, which includes vulnerabilities and misconfigurations. The latter you can completely define by yourself within the Mondoo platform. For our demo, we have defined a policy with 3 checks, with each matching one of our provided assets. In our demo, we will have 3 different assets: a Debian Linux, a Windows 11, and a Kubernetes pod. All are scanned by Mondoo's platform. Currently, we have a space risk of 73, which is already in a critical range. The risk calculation includes total number of affected assets and remediation effort of the vulnerability and misconfiguration findings. We will start by looking at our Debian Linux. The risk score of this asset is at 89, which includes a found vulnerability and a security misconfiguration. When moving over to the vulnerability finding, we can also see that another risk factor, processes with listening open ports, has been also detected with this CVE. Let's have a look how our dashboard is changing while working on our findings. Mondoo provides fix information out of the box, so we can get our patching information with a simple click of a button. In this case, we will patch the machine manually by copy and pasting the provided shell script. However, everything that we do in this demo can also be fully automated. Mondoo provides API access to all its provided information, so automation tools such as Ansible, Terraform, GitOps or CI/CD pipeline tools can access and react to provided risk information. As we have patched the vulnerability now, let us refresh our dashboard to see the impact. We notice that our patch has moved the needle in the right direction. We can also see that the impact is small since we still have some issues ahead of us, but we can see that the vulnerabilities for this asset are resolved now. Let's move over to the misconfiguration of this asset. We notice that the SSH service was configured with the possibility to allow the root user to access the machine remotely with SSH. The finding has been defined as critical. So let's use Mondoo's remediation information again to solve this problem. After the next scheduled scan by the Mondoo platform, which again can be fully configured to your needs, we will see another impact on our overall risk state. The Debian Linux asset has now no unresolved risks anymore, and we were able to move the needle again in the right direction. At this point, we can see that this was not the most critical asset. The dashboard actually provided us with this information by showing us the top actions for risk reduction. So let's move over to our Windows 11 asset. We quickly notice the score is at 91, and the risk factors contain EPSS score, exploit, and remote exploitation information, which influence the space risk accordingly. Moving over to the vulnerabilities, we can easily see that a multitude of findings are present on this machine. When we analyze a finding, we can see that Mondoo's advisory information is providing us again with the missing patch information out of the box. We also have the full remediation script available, so we can easily resolve the findings. Next to the remediation, we also get a deeper look into the Windows patch and which CVEs are also resolved by applying the found fix to our asset. For the demo, we decided to remediate the findings with Ansible in the background, including necessary reboots of the machine and running another Mondoo scan. We can now see a significant reduction of the risk score, as the previous discussed findings were all taken into account. We also notice that the top actions for risk reduction are resolved now. Now it's time to resolve the last findings within our assets. In this case, we can see that Samba version 1 is still enabled on this Windows, which is a known risk. Again, we will use Mondoo's advisory and remediation information to resolve the misconfiguration. This time, we will access the machine remotely and apply the patch information with the predefined PowerShell script and scan the asset again after our changes. Our actions were impactful again. as we have lowered the space risk again, and our Windows asset is now also without any critical findings anymore. With Windows and Debian off the to-do list, let's have a look into our Kubernetes resources. We configured Mondoo to check pods that are configured to run as root. This is a very common configuration. However, production environments should refrain from such privileged access rights to important data. We can see the running container in our Kubernetes environment. On the inspection of the pod configuration YAML file, we can see that the significant option is misconfigured. Let's apply the Mondoo remediation information again and redeploy the pod in our Kubernetes. After that, we run another check with Mondoo. With the last bit of misconfiguration resolved, we have reached a risk-free space. Our Kubernetes configuration has now also aligned to our self-defined security standards. With Mondoo, we are able to prioritize findings even better. We are able to see our affected assets and learn which changes are the most impactful to our risk scores. Additionally, we can learn about the estimated work, even before we start rolling out any changes to our systems. And to top it all findings can be accessed via Mondoo's API to automate the remediation, to provide you with an authentic fix now, fix forever strategy. Thank you.